Hello, 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 hello. Thank you so much for joining into Ask Medina and welcome. Tonight, I really wanted to delve into some seriousness related to relationships. And the question is, do you know who you are sleeping with? Do you know who you have a relationship with? Do you really know who you're married to? Do you know? And the reason I'm asking that is because after last week, I had mentioned on Ask Medina that this month is Domestic Violence Month, Awareness Month. And so I received an outpouring of questions related to relationships, which sparked me wanting to really talk a little bit about personality disorders or personality disorder types, because a lot of the things that were coming up really had a lot to do with personality disorders. And oftentimes it can be commingled when you have a personality disorder. It's commingled with certain some depression, some anxiety, some of that. But personality disorder is a distinct difference. And the main difference is that personality disorder doesn't have anything to really do so much with it coming from or it starting from a chemical imbalance, but it's really more, has much more to do with upbringing, much more to do with the way that a person's character develops. So I want to say that because that's really, really important, but it is something that, oh, so seriously impacts people in their relationships. So tonight I wanted to talk about four of the most emotionally charged and impulsive of the personality disorders. And so I hope that this helps someone. And I don't want to sound very medical and therapy-ish and all of those things, but I want to give some context to help you to really understand what it is that we're talking about. And I hope that this helps someone. And I hope that if you are struggling with a personality disorder, or if you think that you're struggling with a personality disorder, or somebody who is a victim of someone who you're in a relationship with someone who has a true personality disorder, and it's left you just traumatized in so many words. Um, I really want you to really think about talking to a professional, because it doesn't have to be this way. It can get better, and um, and has in the lives of some people, but it takes work. It's work. So, with that being said, this is going to be a two-part video, because I want to make sure that I give enough information in both. So, with that being said, I'm going to break it up. I'm going to talk about four, and it'll be a two and two. But I just want to make sure that I'm giving enough, giving all the energy where it should be, and giving enough information and not slighting anybody. So, the very first one that I'm going to talk about is called antisocial personality disorder. Now, you know, have you ever known someone who might have had lots of trouble with the law, getting in trouble in all kinds of ways legally? They might have been going to jail before, just been in and out of jail, incarcerated. Always there's always, or some sort of legal problems have always tend to follow them based on their behaviors or their choices. And this is somebody who um, they behave in very dangerous, impulsive ways without regard for themselves or other people. Just impulsive, not thinking about their choices, not thinking about what they do or how their behavior impacts others. This person may be very behave in just unpleasant ways around people, just not very kind, very almost uncaring way that they have. They have a tendency to sometimes be a very aggressive, very aggressive in nature. It could be verbally, it could be physically, very aggressive, particularly if they're not getting their way about things. Their way is their way, and that's it. They really they don't have empathy. They don't have empathy for others. So that means they're not able to put themselves in place or in the shoes of another person, nor do they really give a hoot. So, if you know of someone, or if you've experienced someone who tends to behave that way, you are probably dealing with someone who has either an antisocial personality disorder or somebody who has very strong what's called characteristics, you know. So, people in general can have any one of these things that I am describing without them having a true disorder. But when those behaviors keep showing up again and again and again, in all of the relationships that they're in, or this is the way that this person has operated. If you look at their history, if you look at other relationships that they've been in, chances are this is somebody who has an antisocial personality disorder, or very, 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 very strong characteristics. All right. The second personality disorder type that I'm going to talk about is one that I've mentioned before, and it's called borderline personality disorder. I know that on a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned the movie Fatal Attraction, which is one of my favorite movies, and I talked about Glenn Close. She is the woman who had the fatal attraction towards this married man in the movie. And she was actually portraying a woman with borderline personality disorder. And so, that was a movie and that was extreme. But the thing about personality disorders is it is extreme in the way that their emotions tend to flow. Um, Having difficulty regulating emotion, regulating happiness and sadness, in that it swings from one, extreme to the next. Can be very, very, very happy, in 1 minute, and then in the next can become very, very sad, angry, upset, and you're left wondering what just happened and how did that just happen? What did I miss something? And so, someone with borderline personality disorder, the bottom line is that there's a fear of abandonment. They're very, very, very afraid of being abandoned. Their self esteem is very low. They, there's a fear that if someone knows them, really gets to know them, they're not going to want to be with them. So there's a very strong fear and sense of fear that they're going to be left by someone, abandoned by someone that they love. Um, Very, very difficult, and having very strong feelings and emotions that they have difficulty regulating. So if you think about someone like this, situation could look something like this. So say, you're in a relationship okay, you're in a relationship with, I'm a woman, so I'm in a relationship with a man, and and we make plans. We've got this plan to go out to dinner. We're supposed to go out to dinner, and then we're supposed to follow up with a play. And we've got it all planned out. We're gonna go, and we've got what it is that we're gonna wear. And then I get a phone call that there's one of my relatives has to have emergency surgery. Okay. Has to have emergency surgery, and I need to leave to go be with them because of the situation. I'm the next of kin, and it's an emergency situation, and I've got to go. The person that I'm dating or that I'm with may react to me like this if they've got borderline personality disorder. What do you mean you have to go? You got to go. You've got to leave. You got to go now. Well, we were supposed to go. We had plans. What do you mean? Nobody else can go? Oh my God. Are you serious? Okay. Well, it's fine. Go. Go. I don't have a problem with it. That's fine. You know what? Why don't you just spend all of your time with your family member? That's what you need to do. Forget me, forget about us. That's it. We're over. We're done. Okay. So, I'm giving you a little snippet of what it could be like in order and when you're with someone who really struggles with emotional deregulation in that way. It's very difficult for them to see the situation. They react to it, and they react to it in a very personalized way, as if there's a rejection of them. So, in the example that I gave, the person that I'm with didn't really hear the fact that I was dealing with an emergent situation that was, I had to address a situation, that was an emergency. My family member is being operated on and I need to get there. I'm the next of kin. They're not hearing that. What they're hearing is, I am not going to be able to show up for them, and they were looking forward to it. And and I didn't want to. If I really wanted to be with them, I could make some sort of an allowance to be there. But I would rather go and do this other thing than to be with them. They feel rejected, therefore they're going to reject me. Therefore, I'm ending things right now. That's it. That's more of like the extreme of how someone that struggles with a borderline personality disorder might be. They're just not getting the full picture. Their picture is very distorted. Same with an antisocial personality disorder. Their picture of the reality of their situations is very distorted. They're very me centered, they're very focused on me. In most emotionally charged or impulsive relationships, they are very self centered. They come across in a very self centered manner. So it's difficult to be with someone who has a perception that's so skewed. And that's what makes it so difficult. So, with antisocial and borderline personality disorders or strong characterological types, I hope that this might have given you a little bit of insight into how those types of relationships could potentially go into more aggressive, more damaging, more serious, potentially domestic violent type relationships if they're not treated, if they're not managed in the right way. And so stay tuned for part two. Thank you.